Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Astrologer Eric Rosen for Viking Rising Astrology, your daily horoscope for all 12 zodiac signs for November 16th, Thursday, 2023. Thanks so much for being here. Well, moon's in Capricorn now, so things get a little bit more serious, a little bit more sincere, right? Maybe there's some things in your life that you've even been exploring these past, 2.5 days with that moon with Mercury in Sag that can get a little bit more real now. This is about, simple basics of astrology, of moving on from the philosophical sort of, energy where you can't really touch it to the actual touch of things, the physical manifestation of your plans, of things that you're doing. And so whether this is things that you'd already set in stone a while ago or things that you really feel like you just need to get done and not fall behind the eight ball, definitely a good day to do that. Definitely looking at the South Node in Libra with Venus. We definitely don't want to, create an anchor in our relationships or even just trying to demand feeling a certain way around money, partnerships, our projects, our self-worth, our skill set. This could even be feeling like you're on one side of the seesaw and there's an imbalance and it's like, I should be over here. Because it's Venus, it wants to feel good, so it's probably going to be where you're feeling like your value system somehow like not being fulfilled. And so it's a little bit more on a day like today of bossing up, being adult-like for sure. This moon's not going to cross Pluto yet. That'll be Saturday, but we've got to start to plan for what are the reveals that are coming for the longer term vision of where things can go, because I think we've been planting a lot of seeds with this new moon in Scorpio, and that might take a few months for these things to happen. But with that Sun Mars, that's especially going to be meaning, it already is now, it's there, but it's going to be more potent on Friday, is the understanding that, if there's things that you want, you have to be able to really get clear and identify what those things are and really just draw the energetic boundaries of what you're willing to let in and not let in. That Mercury, it's a reminder to not look too far ahead, too much in the bigger picture, and to not look at things that are outside of the desires of Scorpio of what you want. So this includes, Scorpio things, right? It's like, it's your desires, it's money, it's, being empowered, it's intimacy, it's sex, it can be lust too, right? So it's like, that's an example, is like, what are the energetic boundaries? Like, are you looking too far out? Like, for better lack of words, it's sort of like, when you connect with someone as a partner, it's like, what's in integrity? What feels like it's in the flow? Do you do foreplay first, or you just like dive right in like you're, like someone's going to be a jackhammer and the other one's going to be like concrete or something like that? It doesn't really set things up well. And so another analogy would be to apply this to your money situation too, like, or a business, or really just anything that you want. Like, it's not, I'm going to get out the jackhammer and I'm going to plow through this. It's like, oh, like, I've got some seed manifestations. There's some dirt here that's starting to, freeze over. I'm just going to get the jackhammer out and, try to warm up the soil and plant the seed in it just to get the seed. But it's like, you can't keep the soil nourished year round in the fall and the winter. This is just the understanding of the astrology of like where things are at. And so definitely watch out for those implications today of thinking too fast, being too fast. This is way more of a patience game. It's way more of playing the long-term plan. I would say even being studious and observant of our behaviors to make sure that, they don't become destructive, and that even if there was a need to like move something out of the way, think of it more as like moving an internal block out of yourself, and how can you dig deeper into that. I do want to finally mention that North Node Chiron, that's still in Aries, of course, will be for a while. I mean, we're talking pretty much another year-ish. The thing is that we definitely want to make sure that we're paying attention to our root chakra, even with Uranus and Jupiter and Taurus, the rooting, the grounding. Nothing really good happens spiritually right now if we're in fear, if we're in lack, if we're not feeling grounded. We've got to connect to the earth. We've got to connect to that frequency. And so one of the things that I see with that Chiron, that North Node in Aries brings up a lot of, is ancestral work. It's ancestral work. It's even inner child work too, the formation of the root chakra that was happening at a very early age. And so this is, revisiting family conditions, family lineage, family patterns, especially around, I would say, well, the mother and the father was Saturn in Pisces, but, more so around the structure or lack thereof of what was in the home, especially like, emotionally, how much were things in the flow versus like people's behaviors were pathologized, or this could even bring up like an absent parent, right? Like Pisces is like where, things sort of just like can disappear into the fog. So absent emotionally or even physically. So these are all things to kind of like look at, where it's like you identify what it is that you want and you go after it and you're taking the steps. But like most people, as I was, reminding myself in human design, are either a generator, manifesting generator. And so it's like most people, except for manifestors and to a degree manifesting generators a little bit, but not a lot, like are meant to attract things and not just like go after things, right? And so it's like you feel like you got to go after the thing and feel like you're forcing it. That's probably more of that destructive energy. That's more of like emotional dryness with Moon and Capricorn that we don't want to fall for, where things just don't feel good. We don't need to make it harder on ourselves than the challenges we've already been going through these past 3 years. And, to remember too, that Scorpio energy is to like keep resurrecting, our value systems and remembering our deeper why of why we're doing this, to keep us motivated, to keep going up the mountain. And so if you get into that forceful situation, it's like drop within, see that maybe like it's more of the achievement with Pluto and Capricorn, finishing up here over this next year from within, moving those ancestral blocks out of the way, moving those wounded inner child patterns out of the way. And even, it's a reminder too, to like not even use the emotion to, try to move it out of the way as if it's an obstacle to your plans, in a way of like applying the force and the push there. It's way more about sinking into the emotional side of things and actually using emotion to get things to flow and actually, give attention, give undivided attention, give love, give compassion to what shows up as the blocks. That's where it can feel like our timeline homework, that we're doing timeline work where we're been choosing our timelines and we're assessing what the quality of those timelines are going to be, especially in relationships and connections, that the quality of that timeline is going to be based upon like, are we doing that inner work? Are we dealing with our emotions? We got to start with the emotional front of things. So I'm going to pull a card real quick from this Astro card deck for today. So yeah, we got Mercury, the messages card. So it's like, pay attention to the conversations that you're having today. Keep them neutral. This is not about emotionally charging conversations. This is about keeping them fluid. This is about, I'm especially drawn to the orb at the top, that it's like, you've got these two serpents coiled. Like they even put a Kundalini element to this card, right? Like that life force energy that sits at the base of the spine and rises up. So it's like, speak from a truthful, honest place, speak from, yes, a passionate place, but still like a loving, passionate place, like that is firm in your identity, but that you feel rooted, you feel connected, but you're also opening up to the heavens too. Is definitely a time to not speak from any wounded patterns or, feeling like, oh, things are misaligned, things have got to go in a different direction. And also too, remembering it is Mars on the sun. So it's like, when it comes to intimacy, when it comes to connection, because I got the Cancer card reversed, it's like remembering that, at the end of the day, only we know how to like really hold ourselves and really immerse ourselves in the energy that we need to nurture us, and to do that first for ourselves. And then also to, be okay with communicating those needs, and wants and desires to other people, but also know that they're going through their own stuff too. They're going through their own, recalibrations. They're going through their own soul's resurrection. They're changing their approach to life. And it's a little bit like, could feel like ships in the night. And then just make sure that we're not creating like do or die expectations for things, and that things don't come across as crass. Remember to keep it neutral with that messaging. I promise you, this is not the time to start fires in the middle of the night just to create change in your life, especially those relationship, money, project, business, achievement style situations. All right, love you guys. If you guys want to get a private astrology reading, pop it to that link in that bio, and I'll see you tomorrow.